Welcome back to the Local Lap, where racers and fans stay connected. We're joined today by a driver out of Sun Prairie that races midgets and sprint cars. He's done a little bit of both wing and non-wing. Joe Wipperfurth, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we're talking about the midgets and the racing that happened at Beaver Dam. The Sootheel Memorial was quite a race, a lot of national competition. You finished 15th there, but I got to ask you about Cole Witt. You ran him really strong in the heat race. Did you think that kid had enough to win the feature that night?
Yeah, I did. He's quick. I checked my lineup when we started our heat race, and I saw the 9 Lewis car was out there, the 11 car was out there, and I see Witt out there, and I see a Tony Stewart car. I figured I have all my eggs in line here and get going on this deal. But
now that's national midget competition coming to play really where Badger midgets are strong. The stronghold is Angel Park Speedway. But Beaver Dam's somewhat of a neutral territory. When you run against those guys, what does it do to you as a weekly racer, basically, to prepare and run against these guys and run pretty well?
It makes you step up your game. Those guys come in with multi-million-dollar teams, and they race 5 times a week, and we're weekend warriors, Badger guys, and it's tough competition. You got to go out there and try not to mess up at all. And I messed up once, and he got me. So
he got by for the heat win, and I know the race didn't go the way you wanted for the feature, but really in that competition mode, I would imagine you might want him back at your home turf at Angel Park Speedway in Sun Prairie, where you are a bit more comfortable, a bit more experienced. Do you like traveling when Badger goes to other tracks like Knoxville or Beaver Dam or Charter?
Actually, I do. I like the bigger tracks. You can tell who's a driver and who's just a guy out there running around every week that has the track figured out. You go to Knoxville, you got open playing field. You guys from all over the country there, and you got guys that know how to read the track, how to set up a car, and then you can really pick and choose who knows what's going on. You can tell the way the race gets going through the night and how they adjust their cars.
It helps you in a way, but let's talk about your experience specifically at Angel Park Speedway in Sun Prairie. You did real well in the 30 lappers this year. I think you finished 4th in one race after leading it for a bit. But the 50 lappers, that's got to be a whole new ball game. You did really well there in getting top 10 finishes.
Yeah, we were really strong in the 50 lappers. I think a lot has to do with patience. A lot of the guys come over there and they get running hard 30 laps. Well, they don't take in mind, wears on the tires. The chassis gets upset all the time. Shocks are changing every lap. The track's changing, moving taller. And when it came down to it, the 150 lapper, a lot of guys started blowing tires. It's just from beating on your tires too hard. And tire conservity, it helped out a lot. We got that figured out pretty good. And you can tell who's in shape, who isn't, because they start falling off after about 25 laps, and then you can start picking your way through.
Joe, for a minute, tell us about your team and the folks you surrounded yourself with this year and the support you had.
Yeah, I had a great group of guys this year. I'm glad Howard Davis and Rick Imhoff asked me to drive the car this season. We had struggles a little bit, but we had a good time. All my pit crew guys, hats off to those guys. I mean, they bust their butt 3 days a week at the shop, and then we go racing wherever we got to go. And it's been a good year, a really good year.
The midgets themselves seem volatile, finicky. You got to get it run right, and you got to stand on the gas. What made you get into midget racing to begin with?
Well, my dad and I, we grew up like 2 miles from the track, and we would go every Sunday, and my dad would always say, you're not getting in one of those things. And after I went out on the road with the World of Outlaws for a year, and he came back, and he thought, well, we'll give it a shot, And a guy, Butch Dahlke, asked me if I wanted to drive his car one night, and this long story short is I got into his car, we got Rookie of the Year, and impressed my dad, and that meant a lot to me at that time, and it still does. And we just kept going, and then you mature a lot through that. You got to be really patient, smooth, and it's all finesse in midgets. You got to run in, hold your line, and it's all momentum and finesse of the car, and it helps a ton.
You had some national interlopers playing on a Sunday night on one of your point nights. So even then, it's not a USAC show, but they still come and play with you. You managed to finish 8th in points. I say that because while there's no victories, there's a lot of good, strong top 10 runs against some really stiff competition. Yeah,
we had good consistency this season, which if you look at anybody like Scott Hatton's a 3 or 4 time champion, he finished 2nd at Point Summit this year, but he only won a couple features. And we ran strong all season. And it's nice to have wins, but I'd rather have consistency and good year at the end there to finish up. So.
Well, Joe, thanks for being on the program with us. Continued success to you, and we appreciate you taking some time to join us tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more on this edition of the Local Lap. Stay tuned.